The FedLife podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve. Ed Zerndorfer is our guest and federal benefits expert in the space.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife podcast. If you're new, I'm your host, Dan Sipe. I'm actually the founder of Serving Those Who Serve, and I'm also the branch manager here at Lee Sipe & Associates and Serving Those Who Serve. I want to begin, as I always do, by saying thank you. Number one, thank you for taking the time to watch or listen. But above all, thank you for your service to the government, to the country, to me, to everyone. In normal times, you don't hear that enough. These are definitely not normal times. So you absolutely have not been hearing it enough for the last year and a half. So I'm going to say again, thank you. The other thing you're always going to hear here is my buddy, Ed Zerndorfer. The guru is back here once again as part of our ongoing mission to reach, teach, and serve you, the career civilian Fed. Once again, we're following Ed's Fed Zone articles. What's the Fed Zone, Dan? In case you're new, that is our ultimate repository of all things Ed Zerndorfer, going back to about 2018. Got all those articles in there, and we select certain ones to amplify through the podcast. It's one more way for us to reach and teach. And today we're doing a follow-up because there's been so much interest in them about something brand new, those Trump accounts. These were created in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025, and they are set to launch on the 4th of July, so right around the corner. I know podcasts are supposed to exist outside of time and space, but that's right around the corner. So a Trump account is kind of like an IRA established for child under 18. Ed, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, as you say, Dan, they were established as part of one of the provisions coming out of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025. They are scheduled to launch on July 4th, 2026. And the IRS has recently put out some information about these accounts. I know that individuals, parents, grandparents are very interested in this for opening up these accounts for their children or for their grandchildren. But there's a lot of questions that still remain there in terms of setting these accounts up. Who can set it up? That's one of the big questions here. So we'll go into a little just review of the information we have. As I said, we had another podcast talking about them in general, but I think we should review what they are. And as you say, Trump accounts are called an IRA, established for a child under the age of 18. Not only a child can only have one Trump account. You know, when you think about IRAs, an individual can own multiple IRAs. But the question comes up, why would a child have an IRA? IRAs are for people who are working, you put money in. Well, the idea of the Trump account is that you set this Trump account out, you fund it, and when the child turns 18, from there, they can make a decision. The child can decide what they want to do with this account. They can just keep it as is. No more contributions can be made, or they can use it they can take the money out down the line. Basically, after 59 and a half, the money in the account does grow. One of the possibilities is they can convert the account to a Roth IRA when they're 18 years old. So there's several options. But in the meantime, the question comes up, how is this account going to be funded? How is the Trump account going to be funded? As I say, parents, grandparents can set it up, and there are various sources of who can fund the account. a grandparent, a parent, an employer. We went through this employer on behalf of an employee can put money in. Now the question comes up. Well, besides parents and employers funding the account, charities can fund it. Exactly how is the account going to be growing? The account is going to be invested in only certain investments, as stated in terms of they have to be low cost mutual funds. You can't put it into crypto, things like that. So I got to tell you, Dan, on paper, it sounds great. But there are so many more questions that have to be asked before individuals should really start opening up these accounts. And let's start with a breakdown in terms of children under the age of 18, how these accounts are going to be funded. And first of all, for children who were born excuse me, I have to check my notes here, who were born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, an automatic federal government contribution, it's called a seed contribution, will be made to the account when the account is opened up. Now, I mentioned a grandparent. Can a grandparent open up a Trump account on behalf of a grandchild? And the answer is, if that grandchild was born anytime between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, and the grandchild is a tax dependent of the grandparent, then the grandparent can open up the account and an automatic $1,000 seed contribution will be made to the account by the federal government. Now, if the child was born, let's say, before January 1st, 2025, no seed contribution can be made. So in that sense, who can fund the account? Who can fund the Trump account on behalf of the child? And the law states that a parent, a legal guardian, an adult sibling. That's who can actually open up the account or open up the Trump account on behalf of the child. Now, that brings up a question, in terms of a grandparent. Can a grandparent open up a Trump account on behalf of a grandchild who was born before January 1st, 2024? And to answer that question, we are going to go to the form that is used to open up a Trump account. In order to open up a Trump account, the person opening it up has to download IRS form 4547. That's the application form to open up a Trump account. I have that form in front of me, and on that form, I'm looking at part 1. It says parent, guardian, or other authorized individual information. They have to state the name of the child, social security number, address, and so on. Part 2 comes the person opening the account, their name, first name, middle name, last name, and social security number, their home address. Then part 2 comes the child's information, all the information about the child. Social security number, by the way, it has to be a U.S. citizen. The child has to be a U.S. citizen with a social security number. Okay. Part 3 states pilot program contribution election. For a child to qualify, this is part 3, what it states on the form. For a child to qualify to receive the $1,000 pilot program contribution to their Trump account, the child must have been born between 2025 and 2028, must be a qualifying child of the individual opening up the Trump account, must be a U.S. citizen, and must have a valid social security number. All right. Okay. Now comes the important part, part 4.
Okay.
Consent to disclose information. Here, I'm reading what it states. By completing this form, you authorize the IRS, Treasury, and their agents to create and maintain a Trump account with respect to this eligible child or children listed on the form, because you could open up the account for 2 separate children. You also authorize the IRS, Treasury, and their agents to disclose the fact that a Trump account has been established to the eligible children listed above. To any parent, guardian, or authorized individual
Okay.
of the eligible child who is permitted to make an election to request creation of the Trump account.
Okay.
Now let's back up here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an accountant and I fill out tax forms all the time, and this has me thinking when a grandparent has good intentions. They want to help their grandchildren anyway. For example, they buy savings bonds, U.S. savings bonds. That was common. They put money into 529 accounts. But this one really has me thinking, okay, in the following sense. Grandparent says, I want to open up a Trump account on behalf of my grandchild. Okay. Are they an authorized individual? Because if there is a parent, grandparent has a child or child-in-law, and they have a child. This is the grandparent's grandchild.
Got it.
Is the grandparent an authorized individual?
Okay.
According to what I'm reading here, the answer is no, because if the parent is in a position to open up the account, or let's say there's a legal guardian, maybe the child's parent is not available, whatever, might be institutionalized. You're not in any position to raise the child. So there's a legal guardian. That legal guardian would be authorized to open the Trump account. If there's a grandparent there who says, well, my child is institutionalized, I'm going to take the place of the parent, and there's a legal guardian, they're not.
Ooh.
And if the grandparent opens up that account, they are committing possible perjury by signing this statement saying that they are authorized to open up the account. We got a problem here, Dan.
Oh, yeah, big problem.
So, again, grandparents, have to be very careful. Now, let's just back up here for one moment. When I mentioned that if the child was born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, and the grandchild, this is the child, the grandchild is the grandparent, is a tax dependent of the grandparent, then they can open up the account and get the $1,000 seed contribution. Okay. But for children born before January 1st, 2024, in which there is no seed contribution, okay, then a grandparent opening up the account, and if they do that, and in fact there is someone else who's legally can open up the account, a parent, a legal guardian, or some other authorized individual, okay, then the grandparent really cannot open up that account. Now, authorized there have to be something in writing that the person who's authorized to open up has permission from the parent, whatever reason, or legal guardian to open up the account. But this is going to cause a problem. And my advice is that no grandparent should open up a Trump account until IRS puts out some more guidance.
Sure.
We got the accounts, they're opened up the accounts can really be opened up now. I mean, they're supposed to launch July 5th, but the IRS is taking an application, you can apply for a Trump account using this form 4547 now. But my advice to grandparents is don't do it. Don't do it.
Sure.
Don't do it.
Sure, because, am I right that the IRS form is using the word available a lot to ascertain what person should do what?
Yeah, that's right, Dan. And my question is, what do you mean available? What does that mean? A parent is not available. What does that mean? That the parent's, God forbid, is dead? The parent's in jail?
Sure. In my household, it means dad's not on a podcast or on a webinar. Right? So dad's available. He's not on one of those.
In my house, it means Ed's not doing webinars or writing FedZone columns.
Exactly.
That's my house.
Exactly. So I agree with you. This is kind of messy, and hopefully there's more stuff going.
So there really has to be more information. IRS is going to have to put out more information. And I again, my advice is to any grandparent out there, hold off. Just hold off until more information in terms of opening up a grandparent. Yeah. You mean well for your grandchild. In the meantime, if you want to do something for your grandchild, maybe put money into a 529 account. on behalf of your grandchild, or maybe buy some savings bonds on behalf of your grandchild, But in the meantime, until everything is straightened out, I would say I definitely say hold off. They should really hold off on opening up a Trump account.
I think that's the bow on it and the bottom line there. And you raise a great point, Ed, because I've been doing this almost 40 years and 529s have been around for a good chunk of that. That's been kind of a go-to default thing for a grandparent. It's like, oh, open a 529. And it's pretty straightforward. This is anything but straightforward where the poor grandparents are concerned. They can have a great idea in their head and a great hope in their heart for this, but then could misfoot themselves and have a problem.
I'd just like to repeat, if it's okay, what is on this IRS form 4547 Part 4. I'm going to summarize again. A grandparent who is thinking about opening up a Trump account for their grandchild must declare under penalty of perjury, this is what it states, that the grandparent has examined Form 4547 and, quote, to the best of my knowledge and belief, it is true, correct, and complete. There is nothing on Form 4547 warning the grandparent that by opening up a Trump account for his or her grandchild born before 2025, that the grandparent is also representing to the IRS that no other person is available to create the account. That's what they're stating. Got a problem here, Dan.
Couldn't agree with you more, brother. And as always, this is incredibly helpful, breaking this down for our feds. This is the only place they're going to find it. So thank you for being a part of that. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I do not know how you keep all this straight, but I'm glad you do. And I'm glad you do it with us.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure helping the federal employees and retirees and their families. We're living in very difficult times. Knowledge is power. The more we put out, the more information available, better off everybody's going to be.
100%. Well, folks, that's a wrap. We are Serving Those Who Serve. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify, for two reasons. Number one, we'll let you know when the latest stuff is coming out. Number two, it gives you the opportunity to say this was worthwhile and this is worth it for feds. And then the YouTube algorithm will pick up on that and show it to more feds, more feds, more feds. Why am I asking for that? We have encountered, Ed's encountered them, I've encountered them. We've met people over the last 18 months, and it breaks my heart, that had to make life-changing decisions with less than 7 days' notice. And only to find out that their personnel had been shut down, laid off, transferred, something like that. No way to get the information. We have been able to head that off or help people through that when they know about us. And we had 1 million visitors to the website, and that's awesome. There's 2.2 million feds. So I'm asking you, by subscribing, really easy thing for you to do, easy lift. You do that, tells YouTube that this was helpful, and then they're going to show it to more people. Also, don't forget our live webinars every single week. Just head over to the SWS website, swserve.com. You'll see the webinar button. Click it. The whole menu will open up. The guru and the rest of us will come to you. Reach you where you are, teach you where you are, and above all, serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all. Share it with your friends. I promise you they will thank you. And be sure to read Ed every single week in the Fed Zone. That's fed-zone.com. It's great stuff in there. We amplify 2 of them a month, and there's plenty more in there. You have a university level education from Ed's Fed Zone work, and it's all searchable. Check it out. But closing out for Ed, the crew at Serving This Serve, and me, Dan Sipe, I'm going to say what I always say. Good luck, Godspeed, and above all, remember, it's your Fed life. Make it a great one because you deserve it. Stay well, everybody. We are out.